Test, test. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Morning. Welcome to service at Center for Spiritual Living in Visalia. Beautiful Sunday morning. Starting to cool down a little bit, which I think everyone likes. I think, well, if we can get everybody to please take a seat, and we will proceed. I don't see anybody new here, so all familiar friends, and you're all good to see, and I welcome you all. So let us start. Let's start next with Sue, who's going to do the announcements. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'm looking at this. I think Jason's done for now. Yes, Sue. Where's Sue? She's supposed to do announcements. And then we're going to have Vermin Jack up here. And then I think we have the music then. So come on up, Sue.
Good morning, everybody. Are the announcements for today? Ooh. There is a board meeting today at 12 noon here in the center and also on Zoom, and the link is on our web homepage. Our baby contest continues through the end of August. Today is Belly's fundraiser. Chef Debbie is serving an authentic Brazilian dish of chicken, saffron rice, and vegetables. Please donate generously. Support Belly and the center. And the first of us in a series of monthly trainings, Reconnecting with Self and Others Post-COVID, starts Tuesday, August 27th, here at the center from 6 to 8:30. And the cost is $45 for CE continuing units. The first session is free. The presenter is our own Bev Anderson, who's here today. And RSVPs are required. Go on to the say that again. Oh, Bev says that in the future, all the monies donated for the training will be donated to the center. Okay. And you can find this information on our website, CSL Visalia. Okay. Next weekend, well, I guess it's this coming weekend now. No, August 30th, there's a double feature at the Kinsuch home. For two of them. Kinshu. Sorry, Steve. At the Kinshu's home, one is Freud's Last Session, and that's featuring Anthony Hopkins, and I can't make out the other actor's name. Matthew Good. Thanks, Carol. So on the verge of World War II, two of the greatest minds of the 20th century, Sigmund Freud and C.S. Lewis, that's who it was, discussed their own personal battles on the existence of God. The cost is $15, which is a donation for the center, and please bring snacks to share. That should be a really interesting show. I hope to go. Then on Saturday, it's part 3 of the Synanon documentary, again at the Kinshu's home. All these months I've had the wrong name in my head, so it's stuck. The Synanon Fix, Did the Cure Become a Cult? And that is going to be another interesting evening, starting on the 31st at 6:30. Again, $15, and bring snacks to share. All of this can be found on the CSL website as well. I think there's another. The Center for Spiritual Living Visalia is presenting a talent show Saturday, September 14 at 7 p.m. Singers, dancers, comedians, puppeteers, whatever wonderful talent you have to share, please participate. Tickets are $20, and bring your friends for lots of fun. And Calling All Artists, annual members and friends show, September and October, and everyone can submit up to 3 pieces: paintings, drawings, sculptures, poems, photography, whatever your talent is. Those are due in by September 1st. And sign-up forms are at the center or on email Donna O. Come and paint a peace pole during our first Friday art walk, September 6th, 5 to 8 p.m. We'll be giving the peace poles to other congregations that join us for International Peace Day on Saturday, September 21st. That sounds like an interesting, fun thing to do. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Sue. Okay. Reverend Jack? No, okay, well, since so, okay, well, let's not overtax her. She did a pretty good job there, so. All right, well, we're going to have our next song. What is it, Donna?
Thank you for this day.
Thank you for this day.
James, I've got a dead mic. Oh, now I don't. Okay.
Take it away.
Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this joy, Spirit, thank you for this joy. Thank you for this joy, Spirit, thank you for this joy. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful joy. This wonderful, wonderful joy. Thank you for this peace, Spirit, thank you for this peace. Thank you for this peace, Spirit, thank you for this peace. Soothing, the soothing, the soothing peace. The soothing, the soothing, the soothing peace. Thank you for this love, Spirit, thank you for this love. Thank you for this love, Spirit, thank you for this love. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful love. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful love. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing 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 day.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful song. So next, we're actually going to go right into our mission statement, and I would like everyone to read with me, please. The The words will be on the prompter. So let's do it. Center for Spiritual Living Visalia is the place everybody comes together, connecting in love and learning how to create abundant, joyful, and peaceful lives. Thank you. Today we have something special. We are doing an induction for 4 new members to join our CSL family. So we have 3 of those people here with us, and I'd like for them to come join me on the stage. We have Rita Barron. We have Debbie Cabral. Is that right? And we have Silvana Oliveira. Please come up. I'm gonna step behind you.
Thank you. Hello there. I'm going to have you all stand up here together and face me. Put that right there for a moment. You step back just a pinch. That way I can see all 3 of you. So I want to congratulate you on your intention to become a member of CSL Visalia. You know, what you are really doing is entering into a sacred covenant, not with the center, but with yourselves. And so I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and at the end of the question, I would like for you to respond by saying, I will. Okay? And if you think you can't, now's the time to run. Okay, but we have locked the doors, just so you know. Okay. Will you be a student of this philosophy that we call science of mind, a faith, a philosophy, and a way of living? Will you give of your time, talent, and treasure to your center? Okay. Will you acknowledge that above all else, love is love is love? Okay. So if you are a member, I'm going to ask you to stand and reach out your hands to these newest members. Members, will you support them in their spiritual journey as new members of CSL Visalia? Will you support them in their spiritual growth and learning of this faith, philosophy, and way of living? Will you choose to reconfirm your own intention of membership and your own intention of giving of your time, talent, and treasure by loving them? All right, thank you for that. We have a special song for you now, and Gwen has some things to give to you. But on behalf of CSL, Centers for Spiritual Living, I want to thank you as their representative for being a member, because it's all about membership. And on behalf of the Leadership Council of CSL Visalia, thank you for saying yes. Thank you. So stay here. You got to go off with the music and timing. It'll be right first, then it'll be a little number, but hang on. Our musicians have a song to play for you. Now.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. We hold you in our hearts. You are a part of us. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Thank you for saying yes, and welcome to CSL Visalia. Thank you. Yay! Membership. So, Carol, will you come up and join me? And let's do our inclusivity, because that's a big part of membership.
I'm sorry that I couldn't remember all the actions for that, but there's sign language that goes with that. You are the face of God. So, and there's more sign language that we'll have to brush up on, but it's a beautiful song, and I'm so happy to see you here. All right, today's sermon is a big topic, and I have a big quote about it. It's not going to appear on the screen because that would be here all day if you were trying to read the tiny, tiny print. Let me read you the longer quote, which is about the topic of love. Love is the divine essence of the universe. So I'm going to read about that, and then I'm going to read a very short one, which talks about love in our consciousness and thoughts about diversity, which is an important part of this congregation. So, recognizing the importance of love to the soul, our ordinary human loves are ennobled beyond measure. This family, this friend, this love, this mate is the manifestation of the motivating force of life itself, and is the fountain of love that keeps the soul alive and full. There is no way toward divine love except through the discovery of human intimacy and community. One feeds the other. This is a quote from Thomas More in his book, Care of the Soul. And now, the short, possibly we have the short, yes. Love is too beautiful to be hidden in the closet. And that's it. Diversity and love.
Thank you, my dear. So I'm going to ask our host if he will come up and read our What We Believe statement in your fancy shirt right there. See, I knew it was you. I could tell by the shirt.
Okay, so okay, here we go. If everybody will repeat, or all together now, what we believe. We believe in the unity of all life and all that the highest God and innermost God is one God. Thank you. Now, if everybody will stand, and we're going to sing the congregation song.
I am the thinker that thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker that thinks this thought. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. And if you ask me, who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker that thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. And if you ask me, what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker that thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you. I think the most powerful words in that song is, I have the power to change my mind. Have you ever changed your mind? Have you ever changed your mind when you have been spiritually nudged to kind of go, don't go that way. I know your ego wants to go that way. All right, so let's take a moment and just close your eyes right where you are. And we are going to get ourselves ready to receive the word today. The word of joy, peace, and love. To receive the word that whatever that thing is that we have been thinking about that needs to be changed, we can change it. We have the power to change, and we give thanks for that. Because once we know more, we're more informed and we can make a better choice. What a blessing that is. What a demonstration of the one power, one universe, and one understanding that many of us call God, some of us call spirit, some of us call love, some of us call the universe. By whatever name we call it, we are glad that we are one with it. And so we proclaim ourselves ready to be inspired, ready to think a new thought, ready to see things just a little differently, ready to be the demonstration of what is for the highest and best in our life. Not only in our life, but in our community that we call CSL Visalia. And not only in our spiritual community where we're spiritually fed, but in our community. And not only in our community that we call Visalia, but in the state of California, in these United States, on this planet Earth, we say we are ready. Ready to be the demonstration of love. And so with that, we turn this service over to God for divine right action, giving thanks for all that is already in place, and simply say, thank you, thank you, thank you. and so it is. I hope you are as excited for today and tomorrow as I am. You know, one of the things that I recently read, now I know that there's nobody here in this age group, but if you're over 60, when you get there, you're going to have to be surprised because change is going to happen. And a lot of the changes are changes that you're going to be called upon to make for yourself. And one of the things that we are called upon as elders, and again, I'm not speaking of you all. This is 20 years from now when you get there, but I just want you to be ready. If you're willing, you've got to be willing to be fluid. You've got to be willing to go with the flow. You've got to be willing to be attuned to your body. Now, one of the things, if we were following the global heart vision and the teaching to today, I think the title that they suggested was to just get folks in the door. Because the title for today is, Let's Talk About Sex. So we're all going to go around the room taking turns, and you're going to talk about the last time you had sex. And we're going to analyze it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to explore it. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. But here's what I want to say about that. It's all about love. It's all about love. And in my 40 years of being a licensed minister, being an ordained minister, I've had a number of times to do weddings. And in all those times of doing weddings, I get to be pretty predictive about how successful this marriage is going to be. Just from that first preliminary interview, it tells me everything I need to know. If someone comes to that session and I ask them, so tell me why now? Tell me why now is the time that you have decided to get married. Some folks will share, well, because I can't imagine spending the rest of my life without being with this person. Or they'll have some message about telling me what they've been through together and their commitment to do something magnificent in their life together. I can't wait to do that wedding. But if they come to me and they say, well, you know, I'm 32 and I decided if I'm going to do it, I need to do it now. Now, you would be surprised, but that is often the comment that is made. The decision to be married and to be in a committed relationship for many is, well, my biological clock is ticking and I want to have children, and so we need to do this now. Those are not the relationships that are going to work. If it is merely something on your checkoff to-do list, you'll be able to check it off on your to-do list, but you better get that other to-do list ready really quickly, because disengaging from that marriage is going to be a part of your future. And so sometimes as a minister or as a clergy person or as an officiant of a wedding, I have to say no to doing that wedding. And it's like, what do you mean no? I don't get it's a fit. I don't get it that you're ready right now to do this. And they go away kind of angry at me. But time and time again, 2 or 3 years later, I'll run into one of those people and they'll say, oh, thank you. Thank you for telling the truth that day because I had no idea. So we really get to look at what I have talked about before of who gets to be in our intimate circle of our life. Who is right there in our universe? We have to really kind of take a look at it and say, okay, this is indeed a collaborative partnership. And what I mean by collaborative partnership, this is from this day forward, we are going to do this thing together. We are going to share our vision. We're going to share our purpose. We're going to share our life together no matter what. And I love the idea of what Brene Brown talks about when she says that the greatest myth in the world is that marriage is 50-50. I don't know about you, but in the research that I've done in my own personal life, I've never had a 50-50 relationship. At times, yes. If we are committed to the same vision and we're working on the same task, yeah, it can be 50-50. But one of the things that we have to be willing to do in any relationship is to tell the truth about what we're bringing to that relationship that day. What Brene Brown goes on to talk about is if she's had a particularly tough day at work, working on her own thing, and her husband comes home and has had a tough day in his own life, the first question they ask is, what's your number? And her husband may very well say 20%. And he'll say, what's your number? And she'll say 20%. Then we know that it's time for us to go to our separate corners and to do some self-healing, to do some praying, and to meditating. But there's no judgment for telling the truth. There are other days when they come home and it's the same conversation, but she's had a particularly good day. Something wonderful has happened that day. She's been inspired that day. And he says 20%. And she goes, you know what? I've got you. I can bring the 80% today. You go in, you sit down, I'll fix dinner, I'll get things ready, and we'll come together in an hour. Usually by the time that hour passes, they're back and they're both right at 50%. They're both really giving it all that they have to give it. But there's an agreement there that I want to talk about. There's an agreement there that we're going to be honest with one another about what we can bring to the relationship in that moment. Guess what? It doesn't stop with our primary relationships. That also translates to our friendships, our chosen family of people who we want to surround ourselves with. We should have the same expectation of honesty and commitment from them that we do with our intimate partners. That we have this opportunity if they ask us to engage. You know, I'll give you a good example. How many of you have ever needed to move and you call your friends to say who's available? You know who you can count on. And then you look at the social media of the other folks and it's like, wait a minute, they went on a picnic yesterday. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Especially if you've been the one to always be there for that other person when they move. Now, here's the thing about change. Many of us, as we approach a certain time of our life, we are in situations where we must change. where we must, for the very first time, ask other people for help. For many of us that have been givers, for many of us that have been carrying the 80%, most of the time, guess what we're so very uncomfortable to do? It's to ask for help. And then we get the help, but we find ourselves having to go, well, no, not that. What I really need you to do is this. And so oftentimes people don't know how to give support. And so I want to encourage you that if you want to be in support of someone, here's the key phrase. How can I support you? What can I do to support you? And then tell them. But you got to be prepared. They may not be ready to do that. And this is especially true with children. Now, you may have raised your children with the same philosophy that your parents raised you, and so you have this belief that they are going to be there for you just exactly the same way you were there for your parent. Guess what? Not going to happen. And so one of the things, there was a friend of mine that lived in Tracy that she had a little placard on her door as you would go to ring the doorbell. It says, be very kind to your children because they are picking the assisted living facility you're going to be living in. And it was funny, but it would really sometimes gets down to that choice and to that consequence. And that you get to feel disappointed. I have, and again, in this 40 years, this opportunity of couples counseling and working with couples to find that oftentimes the unspoken understanding is the male's parents will be taken care of, but the female's parents, well, one of your other siblings need to do that. So we have this opportunity to make sure that we're asking the right questions early on so that we can make different decisions, so that we're not surprised by them. And again, it's a willingness to tell the truth and to ask for what you want. Think about this. This is $1 million question. When is the last time that you can recall somebody said to you, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? For many of us, we can't even answer that question. It's been so long since another human being has come to us in a loving way to say, what do you want? That we don't know how to respond. It almost becomes that typical conversation of something like, where do you want to go for dinner? Oh, I don't care, anywhere. Okay, let's go to Mexican. Well, no, not that. I had that last week. Well, how about Thai food? Oh, no, that upsets my stomach. Okay, we don't know how to really respond to the question, what do you want? It also comes to that same question when it comes to intimacy, because after all, we have been told today we're supposed to talk about sex. When's the last time you were intimate and someone said, what do you want? I know I'm not speaking to the wall or only to the people on the internet. If you're not asked what you want, you've got to be willing to say, here's what I want. Here's what I want. What part of that can you provide for me? Can you bring 20%? Can you bring 80%? After you get past that initial conversation, I had no idea that's what you wanted. You can get by that conversation too. But then again, you have to be willing to have the similar response to say to your partner, to your friends, what do you want? And then deliver on what it is that you can do. So do you see it all gets down to communication? It all gets down to communication and letting go of the expectation of how we think things should be. Our mind is full of expectations. And it was, it reminded me early on when we were talking about the announcements and then we're talking about Freud. And one of the first lessons I learned in psychology about Freud, it was the definition of the id, the ego, and the alter ego. And it was like, okay, how am I going to keep all this in track? And the professor said, okay, the id is the part of you that says, I want ice cream. And the ego is the one that says, I know it's late, but 7-Eleven is still open, and they have those ice cream sandwiches that you like. But then the superego goes, really? You're going to have that at 11 o'clock at night. Is that for your highest and best? So there explains the id, the ego, and the superego, and one lesson that everybody can relate to. But when we get to this thing in life, again, I know that you're noticing this now because I'm noticing it now. The superego is on vacation for many people. People are starting to feel entitled to their id, to what they want. And if you don't provide it, their ego is going to say, oh, they must not love me. They must not love me. Time to change and get someone else. Because here's the $1 million secret about relationships. Every relationship is divinely designed to teach us something in our spiritual journey. There is not a person in this room that is not here today for a reason. And as Iyanla Van Sant said, I often quote her, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And so often we want to jump that middle part. They come into our life for a reason. We met them at the dance. They smiled just like we like to be smiled at the dance. And the second date, we're buying the U-Haul truck and we want them to move in because we think it's for a lifetime. I know no one in here has done this. I'm just preparing you for other people when you talk to them. We all have responded to our id by jumping in and doing the thing without going to prayer about it first, without spending any discernment around it, without asking the question. Tell me, I'm an HR guy. The one question I've asked more than probably any other question is, where do you see yourself in 3 years? So now's the time to ask that question. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Now, here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to describe how it will look. I want you to describe how it will feel. Because that is the only way that you will know when you're there. Because we know nothing ever looks the way that we think it would look. When we come at it from different eyes, we suddenly see it with a sharpened reality. I remember the house that I grew up in was a huge house. It's a huge house, full of furniture, full of life. And then when my brother and I sold that house, and we went to do the one last walkthrough, he looked at me and I looked at him and he said, "When did this house get so small?" It was really a very small house when the life within that house was removed from it. And so we have to be willing to test our relationships, to do our due diligence, just to make sure our ego isn't trying to give us what we think we want it to look like. Because if we paint it on that canvas what we want it to look like, guess what? That's all we'll see. Because what we know in this faith, this philosophy, this way of living, is where you put your focus, it expands. So if you only want the good in someone, you're going to see only the good in that person. You're going to see what they look like on their resume. You're not going to see what they're like behind closed doors. And then once you're there, you reevaluate. You've got to make the decision. Oh, what changed? And often we are struck with a lesson that nothing changed. We just weren't willing to see it in the beginning. The same woman that has that plaque on her door, "Be careful with how you treat your children," also had a philosophy that she taught that you can always see the end in the beginning if you look. Now, in her counseling, her way of working with women, and that was her ministry, she would say to women, "Okay, if he cheated with you in his last relationship, guess how your relationship's going to end?" When people show you who they are, believe them. And don't act surprised when they're authentically who they are. You saw it. You saw it, but you pretended not to notice. Or your ego convinced you, well, they just need to spend some time with me. I'll be able to help them transform. I'll be able to help them change. Or for some other reason, it's like you have a checkoff list that you want to check. I knew to end a relationship once by this very small sentence that almost seemed innocuous. But we had gone through some stuff together. It was the first time in my life that I had to deal with alcoholism, verbal abuse. But I had this idea that I'm spiritual enough. I know this teaching well enough. I am the demonstration of this love. They'll come around. Guess what? They didn't come around. But I kept praying. It's like, okay, God, I have to change, but I want to know that what I am doing is spiritually based. And I prayed, and I prayed. And then one day we were having one of those encounters. A therapist said something to me that was really profound. And I when you come home from work and you hit the remote and the garage door goes up, are you happier if their car is already in the garage? Or are you happier if they're not there yet? And I realized that I was happier if they weren't there yet. Because then I could get inside first. I could take care of the dogs, have them taken care of. I could have dinner started. I could have checked the mail, pre-checked the mail. I could be ready to receive whatever was coming in the door. And I realized that's no way to live. That's no way to live. And so when we were having that conversation, this person that I was with said in a loud proclamation, well, I'm not going to be 60 and alone. And I responded, okay then I need to get out of the way. Because had you said, I don't want to be 60 and without you, I would have stayed. But I was merely someone on their checkoff list. And I thought life is too short for that. I don't want to be anybody's plan B. And we know what that is. We know what it is to be a plan B for our friends and some of our family members when we call and we ask them, hey, what are you doing Friday evening? Oh, I'll have to let you know. Okay. And then they never let you know. What they have told you is anything but spending time with you. You're never quite that priority. I'll go to the movies with you as long as somebody else doesn't call and want to do something more fun first. We've all done that. So we have this opportunity at what Carl Jung would call the autumn of our life, to look back on our hero's journey, our journey of stepping out, finding out what life is about, and then returning home to talk about it. The autumn of our life is our time for us to start talking about what we've learned, what we have overcome. Now, here's the thing that I really want you to get. When your friends and loved one comes, it is not the time to talk about the medications you're taking. It's not about the time to talk about your knee surgery. It's not about the time to talk about your lower back pain. It's not about the time to talk about how many times you have to get up in the night to go, you know where. What they want to hear about is your legacy. What was important to you in your life? What did you learn in your life? How did you get over in your life? How did you take dominion? How did you demonstrate your own emancipation? That's what they want to do. That's what they want to know. That is what's going to make them want to spend time with you. Think about who you enjoy spending time with. Now, if you are commiserating with someone and all you're talking about are your shared medications, you're living that life in that lowest level of consciousness where life happens to you. That's not who God sent you here to be. God sent you here to be that person that takes dominion over your life and steps out in life and does more. God sent you to this life and called you to this time to find your community, find your tribe, and tell your story. Your story matters. And if your ego is telling you that your story doesn't matter or mine's not that important, then say, devil, get thee behind me, because that's a lie. Your story matters or you would not have been sent here. You were given a purpose. If you don't know what your purpose is, then you must spend some time reflecting on that. Many of you, many of those folks that we're talking about that are over 60, knew their purpose as to be their vocation. They might have been a nurse, they might have been a doctor, they might have been a whatever, a teacher. But once they retired, they just stopped. They didn't find a new purpose for the autumn of their life. The purpose for the autumn of your life is to get your legacy in place so that you get to tell your story and not have your story be told by other people who made it up. You know, one of the things that I remember, I read my hometown newspaper online. And just as my parents did, I find that the first page that I go to is the obituaries. But when I read them, oftentimes what I relieved is she was a loving woman who loved gardening. And that's all they say about her. Well, I've been to my hometown of Winchester, Indiana, and I'm here to tell you, there aren't that many gardens. There aren't that many gardens. So she may have loved gardening, but that's somebody else trying to tell her story. And I don't want that to be the truth for any one of us. I want you to tell your stories of how you got your first job, all the times you fell in love and got your heart broken and how you got over it. I want you to tell those stories to the people that you know want to know you. And to get back to our title today, if you want to embarrass your grandkids, talk to them about your sex life. Make them laugh, make them smile, but they'll remember. So here's the key. Here is the key as our musicians get ready to play the song that we're going to close with. You've got to be willing to let go of the shore and go with the flow. Thank you.
Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go the shore, float into the mystery. You have all you need, it's all inside. outside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. No need to make a plan, your heart will be your compass. Just lift your sails in faith and trust that you will arrive. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. Float into the mystery.
Thank you, Donna. I guess we have the prosperity prayer next. Oh, okay. The 50-day prosperity prayer. All right. So if everyone will read along with me, here we go. Today, I expect every good thing to come to me, for I know that divine abundance is forever manifesting itself in my affairs. I am keeping my whole mind and thought and expectation open to new experiences, to happier events, to a more complete self-expression. Everything that belongs to Spirit, I accept. Everything that partakes of the nature of divine reality, I claim as my own. I identify with success, and I prosper in everything I do. As I give thanks for the good now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. I experience a deeper consciousness of peace and security, for I know that I am in the embrace of a warm, loving presence. My cup runneth over. I exist in limitless possibility. Thank you.
All right, so this is our time for gracious giving. I hope you're working this prosperity prayer into your life. Again, it only works if you put your focus on it. And I want you to be audacious enough to go, I'm going to prove Reverend Jack wrong. I'm going to prove that this stuff doesn't work, but I'm still going to do it anyway. I'm willing to take that risk. I know at the end of the 50 days, if you do this prayer every day, you will see abundance coming to you in ways that you did not imagine. You know, we talked a little bit about early on, 2 months ago, about everybody finding a way to create $450. I hope you've done that. I hope you've had the power of experiencing that and knowing that by using this prayer, by setting your intention, by tithing the $45 if you create $450 for yourself, your life will be forever changed. So as our ushers come forward, it is going to be the time for us to receive our gifts. So as ushers make their way out into the room, I want each and every one of you to either give of your gift in the basket, but to touch the basket, even if you have nothing to give today. Bless the gift that's in it. Put your energy in it. Put your joy in it. Put your love in it. As the host receives the gift, the ushers will stay here. Stay next to Stan. And will you all reach out your hands and simply say, "Thank you, God, for these gifts. May they bless our center and the work that we do." And so it is. So was there something in it for you today? Okay. Y'all gonna go home and talk about sex? Oh, good. Okay. So let's close our eyes right now and just give thanks. Just give thanks for every hand that had a part in making today's service available. We give thanks to our production crew. We give thanks to our host. We give thanks to our leadership council. We give thanks to our musicians and our vocalists. We give thanks to our newest members. Yay! We give thanks today. Today is a day to rejoice. And so we say that we take home what we've heard and we integrate it where appropriate, but we look forward to the next day and the next week, just as we say, "Thank you, God, thank you, God," and so it is. So let's come together in our circle and sing the peace song.